Alright, so let's continue with the second game. That's going to be played on... how is this actually called? I know this map. Yeah, Decentering. Decentering, that was a map that we actually used as a home map some seasons ago in RTS League. And that's a map where you start, each player starts on a little island, as you can see. And it's going to be challenged to put up the town center and then decide who's actually going to be fighting for the water, who's going to be transported on the land fast and developing their economies there. It's all about basically the proper strategy and execution. Yet again, we're missing... Ah, yeah, here it is. You're missing everything. So right now it's going to be correctly showing us the time and villages and whatnot, as they are going to be around. So the civilizations are gonna be what? Persians, Mayans, Chinese, for both. At least it's pretty much fine, as apparently there have been replacements in not NC team. It's just LB10, but Liereyy is making an appearance right now for Austria, and well, quite a bit of switches right now for French as well, because Sebdos is the only one who is sticking, but otherwise Hannibal and VM are going to be playing this map, maybe because Eddie doesn't like water maps, or nomad type maps overall. I'm thinking that might be really the case, but otherwise I'm not all that certain. Yep, everybody's also having transport boats so that they can transport the scout and potentially get some sheep to move around as well. You cannot really transport them on the original, of course. But yeah, already moving around with the sheep, and that's exactly what you are doing in the early game. Just basically micro all the sheep around, trying to find everything that there is to find, and then locate the correct place where you could be potentially landing, which is usually gonna be next to some kind of gold, and maybe even some extra food like this. This looks like a pretty good spot actually for LB10. Somewhere here. Nice, nice gold, stone, food, even a relic in there, and plenty of extra resources all across the perimeter. So you basically cannot make a bad landing. It's always going to be quite decent, as we are looking at some extra release. Even going there, and that's... Oh, that's a bit different strat in there. Has actually somebody else moved as well? Or is this the first one? Maybe Red is gonna be moving, let's see. He's having 3 billies. He's moving a bit of villager. Has he already moved though? I don't think so. Right now he's going to be depositing something, right? Well, apparently it doesn't have anything in there. It's kind of weird. So I'll be thinking that actually should be starting with a bit more villagers. Ah, because I was maybe looking at the Chinese. That could be it. That could be it. But I was thinking that there are actually a bit more villages than there are in reality. But of course, you can already see that Liereyy with somebody else, not yet, it seems like that only Liereyy is going to be coming into the mainland, which is a different strategy than what the opponents are doing, and that of course makes a ton of difference in how the game is gonna proceed for both teams. Right now I don't remember anymore what was actually the effective strategy in the RTS League games. I'm not entirely certain. But RTS League was also a bit different because there was the possibility of slaying, but yeah, I don't really remember. So let's see what the players are gonna do here. First, it's Loom for VM, as the town centers are right now finished. This is going to be nicely protecting the goal, which is also important to how do you actually place the town centers on the island, because if you can protect your gold mine, you are going to be protecting it from the galleys that are gonna be bound to come. Right now the stone is definitely not gonna be protecting. Not gonna be protecting that at all, and this seems to be alright for the protection, even though I'm not all that certain. Galley about here, I think could be shooting on all those villies, so I don't think it's all that ideal, and considering he didn't have really all that much of a choice, looking at all the wood in here kinda suckily spawned for Teutonic tanks, it's not a great map for him, and he definitely will have to hope that it's not gonna come back to bite him. This is much better of course for LB10. As far as the gold and stone goes, for Liereyy, he basically, said screw it, I'm not gonna be kept to my little island, I'm going to be moving to the mainland, and he's gonna be getting some extra sheep, some extra deer, and he does have stone and of course gold nearby as well in pretty good numbers. And the TC next to the shoreline is gonna help protect all of this against some kind of attack from the water. Well then. This TC, I think, should have been cast better, or rather built better at the bottom. I think there could have been enough room, just enough room in there. It's gonna be potentially a problem for the stone, for VM. Let's see if it's going to be a problem for him, but this is definitely not ideal. He basically built it with the shorefish in mind, hoping that it's gonna be helping him. But he probably didn't have much of a choice. I don't think that TC fits anywhere here. I actually really think that it doesn't. So maybe it was just the best choice of the bad options that he had. And well, yellow we have already looked at. So yeah, going to be waiting for villages to be transported. So far we don't really see them. So literally the only one is so far still Liereyy, which I really think is a good idea because he's going to be camped there and it's going to be making the boom in the next age all that easier for him. All that easier for him without really any kind of... He's just not gonna be raided because of course who would be raiding him? Who will be raiding him as we're waiting for the players to finally gather enough food to advance even into the next age. So far not happening. But docks are coming up for some water economy that is most crucial on the centering. So docks everywhere. So far not really for a Hannibal. Seems like that basically just the bottom players are going for it. That's going to be both Chinese coming for the dog. And funnily enough, against each other. So they are really playing basically the same, but the difference in score is quite significant. Sebdos is losing by about 30 points. That's a lot. Teutonic tanks 16 villagers, Sebdos 15. Okay, he's having one less villager. It's not great news for him, as Dog has been built by LB10, and he's going to be helping his economy pretty soon as well in there. Another Dog for Liereyy. So all three Austrians are already with Dog. But dogs are coming up for VM also and for Hannibal. So not really that much. Not really that much of an issue. But yeah, this is probably not going to be that much engaging part of the game. As basically we are waiting for all the players to gather enough resources to advance. There's not going to be any action besides actually scouting with some sheep. Yeah, you can see I scouted quite a lot already. Quite a lot of parts on the right side of the map. Well, we could be definitely continuing with it, but he probably thinks, yeah, well, screw that. I'm just gonna be enjoying the rest of the Dark Age, where I don't have to do anything at all. Just building some houses in there, looking for the fish, and before the real action begins. And already you can see the huge advantage that actually Austrians are having. You can see they are leading even on team by 40 points. Well, VM is actually lagging behind quite significantly. For some reason. VM is having 17 villages. Mayan, LB10 also. So like what's the deal? Don't really get that all that much. Let's see what's different from him. LB10 is having 3 fishing boats. Blue is having just 1. That could be one of the reasons. But otherwise, it's kinda curious. Yeah, well, nonetheless, we are getting higher in the foods finally, and feudal ages from the Chinese are going to be the very first one for either side. Yeah, well, villages already going to be coming forward to transport them into the mainland, because they will need to develop some military buildings and whatnot. Basically start the aggression and such. Right now it's so far going for yellow. Red should be doing that as well. But yeah, all the villages coming potentially for the gold. And yep, the faster you are actually landing, the faster you are going to be able to control the map. This is basically the first French who is right now advancing there, with Liereyy already being there for quite some time. So he doesn't need to basically do anything. From now on, he just needs to boom, and that's gonna be it for him. Even though he's gonna be advancing a bit later into the feudal age, because of course he delayed his TC a bit. You can see that he's right now at the lowest villages at 19 to get a bit LB, and I kinda think it's well worth it, because I'm not all that sure that actually NCs, they are not NCs. Austrians are going to be fighting for the water all that much. I'm kinda thinking they might be just trying to basically deny any kind of land to their opponents quite significantly and fast. You can see that oranges already landed on the left, LB10 also. They are going to be quite close to each other, which is yet another important part. Landing quite close to each other so that the defense is a whole lot easier for you. Already moving forward in there as well with the villages from VM. Yeah, this is not a great spot for him. Let's see how much he actually sees. Well, he sees enough. He knows that there's a gold, that there are berries, that there is extra stone, so it's not really that bad for him. He potentially knows about extra berries in there as well. So this is a natural point for him, because he hasn't really scouted much. Because when we compare this, he has scouted with the goats, or rather with the sheep this. For example, Hannibal has scouted all of this. That's scouted by Red. So, and this is actually kind of funny. Let's just check around how the players scouted. LB10, significant scouting as well, basically as threat. Liereyy, well, he didn't really need to scout all that much because he already was landing there, but otherwise he has already scouted enough quite too, I'm thinking. It's not really bad. VM we have seen basically nothing for him. And Sebdos, nothing all that significant either. So Sebdos and VM basically didn't really do their homework in the Dark Age. And considering that you don't have to do anything else in there, I think it's kind of wasted time. You could have definitely known a bit better about the map as well. Scouting is a skill that is quite often, like almost always, underestimated, but is basically the most important one. Underline absolutely everything, even the base strategies, because of course you need to know what your opponent is doing, how the map looks to play properly, and answer to any kind of challenges. Alright, so some first water battles. Teutonic Tank is going to be trying his hand against Zebdos, as they are so far having the same amount of boats. Otherwise, it seems like that Liereyy is not going into it all that much, but who is LB10. On the right side, VM is going to be coming for it as well, so the Mayans are gonna be fighting each other on the water. Variance also looking for red. Oh yeah, he already does have some. So we're gonna be waiting with Liereyy. He's going to be fighting on the water as well. It's really looking like that not. That he's going basically full land. Right now he's gonna lose the economy of the water, which is of course quite a nice support, but yeah, well, if he doesn't care about it, it probably doesn't matter that much. Doesn't matter that much, as he's right now going to be moving in here. He's still in the Dark Age just now. Just now clicking into Castle Age. Oh, sorry, Castle. Feudal Age, of course. And he's advancing with 27 villages, so he probably is going for Fast Castle. With this amount of villies, that could be the idea for him. And well, if his teammates can actually keep the water alive for that long, those fire ships, they could be really... They could be working well, because I don't think that the opponents are thinking about anything like that at all. They have all advanced fairly quickly into fuel. Right now they are just basically establishing themselves across the map. Trying to set up the economy and everything else that is connected to that, but nothing really major anywhere else. As barracks are coming up. Yep, these are going to be the first barracks coming up in the game from either team. And well, this is the reason why, of course, Liereyy advanced into the land so soon, because he wants to be basically prepared with the knights first. Yep, this is going to be fast castle from him into knights, so that he can control basically everything that the opponents are gonna do. You can see he's already having almost the foot. So he maybe doesn't even need to care about the water. Maybe he can just leave it be, and once he gets the knights so much sooner than the opponents, it's going to be like super sooner. Because neither of them, BM, no food, Sebdos, well, some food, but I don't think he's really hoping to get into the next age so soon. And Hannibal, absolutely no food. So yeah, this is basically telling you that the knights in the castle age are going to be absolutely owning everything. So market coming up, that's going to be stable, already being prepared. Very nice strategy right now by Austria. Quite gutsy, because they're hoping that they are gonna survive long enough, of course, on the water, to give them some extra push with the economy in there through the fishing boats. But it seems to be working quite alright, because Teutonic tanks and LB10 are playing this quite capably and giving all the time in the world to Liereyy to get into the castle and decide the game for them, because it seems like that it really might be decided in the game. Well, let's see. Well, this is just basically full-on mirror between those two Chinese. They seem to be exactly in the same position, having the same amount of boats and whatnot, so probably nothing interesting gonna happen in there. What's gonna be interesting is how LB10 is gonna be able to handle BM, because there is still going to be some assistance also by Hannibal, who is trying to be annoying, trying to kill some few villagers in there, and that's always a danger in here, if you don't move your villagers fast enough, which unfortunately Teutonic Tank didn't. Right now I'm gonna have to hide them, and he should be probably thinking about transporting them as soon as possible, as he does have his presence in there, and he could definitely use a bit more economy than just losing everything in here to the red player. Right now he doesn't probably know what to do first. Protect villages or somehow micro his boats, which is of course gonna result in basically losing both, I'm thinking. He's right now losing economy and the boats as well, without some kind of proper micro. So yep, well played right about now by both Hannibal and Sebdos. But let's have a look somewhere else, as it looks like that LB10, even though blue is right now putting up stone walls, that's a good idea. Definitely good idea, but it seems like that Liereyy is going to be on top of it. Let's switch into green. He knows about the stone wall, and he's already sent the scout cavalry guy there to at least have a look what's gonna happen and potentially stop the stone wall. But how he's not coming back is almost looking like he didn't notice the wall. Yeah, well, that would be stopping the knight, alright. But right now, castle age from him, so much sooner than anybody else. And that has to be a right proper scare for the French right now, because they're not advancing anytime soon. Hannibal absolutely nowhere. VM, the same Sebdos also. They are absolutely nowhere near castle age, so we can basically scratch that for the next 5, maybe even more minutes. And this villager will be quite brave, trying to finish with the wall in, but the knights coming up already will be trying to deny that, and just building it alone, he cannot possibly succeed. He most definitely cannot. Well, the water fights are still going to be continuing, as Orange is right now at least trying to keep it alive, so that the opponents are committing to it, as LB10 is having quite a nice navy. Actually, a really nice navy that could be taking on both of these, I think, especially with the little assistance by Teutonic tanks. And is Green doing something? No, he probably isn't. Probably doesn't care about the water. Yeah, he just said, I'm just gonna leave the water to you guys. So apparently there was some kind of attempt at very quick wall-in, which is not gonna just work out, because one villager against all of this, and this long swath of land to wall up, that's just not good prospects for him at all. And he's dead. Which of course means that even though right now VM has been able to get a TC going in there, as he has apparently deleted the one on his main island, yes he did, he's going to be trying to somehow secure this, but it's going to be way too late, as the knights are gonna be on him in a matter of seconds. They are already coming in, and he doesn't wall up. I'm not sure if he actually forgot about this. I don't really think so, because he was placing all those houses there and using them as quick wall. It was a nice thought by him. But yeah, it didn't just work out, and right now the knights are just gonna be absolutely everywhere across the economies. Even though Red is quite well aware what's happening, he's already going for some spearmen. Just feudal age unit against the castle age unit. Yeah, well, that's unfortunately not gonna work. So, market and blacksmith. So, yellow apparently thinking about heroic. Some boats from LB10 still very much alive. Green somehow having 2 fishing boats alive as well, as the water battle has apparently moved to the bottom, where teal is trying to battle yellow, and at the same time also red, but red is much more engaged with orange. Even though red is having higher amount of boats, it doesn't seem to be really enough, as blue is not fighting the water all that much. It seems like he's basically given up on it, going for a blacksmith and market in there, and well, hoping that he can somehow survive all the raiding that is gonna come. So far it's just basically going into the pocket. Unfortunately for Liereyy, that's not the correct choice. He should have stayed with VM. He's gonna be just encountering the spearmen in there. But yeah, as I said a bit before, they are not really that much of a threat unless they are in in 5s. Oh, well, careful, somebody might be trapped here. Almost was. Almost was, but well, in the end he isn't. And where are the rest of the knights actually? Are they actually coming up somewhere? LB10 coming into castle age. Surprisingly, to be honest. I would be expecting that maybe somebody from French would be advancing now. But 3 TCs already for the Prussian. And he's sending all the knights to the right now. And going to be hoping that that's gonna be fast enough. As on the water, they are doing a pretty great job. Apparently LB10 with Teutonic tanks are... Oh, careful about this transport ship. Sebdos, how many do you have there? Just one, okay. It doesn't really matter. But still, it's a transport ship that you would have to rebuild. And you don't really want to do that. They are just coming around the island, trying to catch the opponents off guard from the back. Which could be working, but still, the water seems to be going quite alright, as opposed to what I was thinking. Because Austrians really looked like that they could be just basically holding it for a bit longer and then lose it. But apparently that's not gonna be the case. They are right now full on into the offensive and doing a good job with that. And almost on the verge of actually claiming it for themselves. Well, apparently those knights are still going to be sticking next to red, trying to find what's there to kill. Apparently not much. Yellow not really walled, he doesn't have any military buildings, so it's going to be literally up to potentially villagers rather fending for themselves. Or maybe just those pikemen or AK spearmen catching up with them, as castle ages are finally coming up, with LB10 being the first. Then it's gonna be Sebdos, Teutonic tanks, VM, and Hannibal there as well. So where are all the green guys? Well, that's some heavy walling with stone walls in there. More knights coming to the bottom, more knights coming here, and even with the villager, oh man. What's that gonna be? Is it gonna be like, I don't know, stables next to the opponent, or is it gonna be monastery? I'm not really sure what's gonna happen, but of course some quick walling already coming up, as the knights have been repelled. They weren't really able to do anything significant in here, but yeah, already LB10 is having the war galleys, which are definitely gonna help with the water fights. And it seems like that it might be just clicking home for the Austrians, but the French still, I think they still have enough boats. Oh well, they don't anymore, as they unfortunately taking a pretty big engagement in there, and the only one with boats left is going to be Hannibal, and that's just not gonna be enough, which will result in plenty of dead villages, as you can see for example here next to the TC, and in turn that will mean that Austrians are gonna be just getting a bit more advantage than they are already having. So those guys are coming back for a bit of defense, as of course knights are still all across the map. Well, one here trying to keep attention of those pikemen, whereas he already killed about maybe 4 or 5 villages. That's good job. That's good job by Liereyy on the raiding in there with some proper micro. And red is right now at how many villages? 33, or rather, sorry, 34. That's military. 33, 36 for VM. Sebel's 43. 43, as we are looking also at 43, 32 and 77 for the Austrians. So 77 for Liereyy. Yeah, that's a good signal that Austrians are well off. And especially one of them. Especially one of them with those 3 TCs, and of course he was having the fast castle so much sooner than all the other players. That basically explains with the extra TCs how he is so far ahead of everybody else. 4 galleys for BM. Even though he doesn't have all that much of an army, well, at least something. It's gonna help him in there. That's of course gonna help him, as this water fight, I don't really expect it's gonna be any kind of game changer, but it's not bad. It's not really bad at all, so still there's gonna be a bit of fight left. There's gonna be still a bit of fight left on the water, as on the land it's really looking like that the green is moving quite inevitably into the middle, right there next to the blue. So I'm going to be waiting for this battle to be somehow resolved. Seems like that right now Austrians are gonna be disengaging, but yeah, monastery is the building of choice for the villages, as I was expecting, and even some extra siege workshop is being built. Alright, so knights together with some, I don't know what, probably would be expecting rams, right? Huh? Mangonel actually. Okay, he wants to get onto those. Yeah, he just wants to basically kill them inside their own prison. In the prison of their own making. And well, town center next to the gold, of course, super crucial. Wow, Imperial Age already coming up from Liereyy. Yeah, that's going to be pretty tough right now. It's going to be very tough indeed, as already they are on top of the gold in there. For Liereyy, he's basically controlling the map all around, even with the stables being built right next to his opponent. So it's not like he's going to be able to defend against this, but still, good idea. Good idea with all those monks, because of course, they are going to be nicely converting all the knights. But yeah, this is kinda sad news for all those villagers. They will have to somehow escape if they can. But basically Liereyy is just waiting with the knights for them to escape, to kill them anyway. That's just a sad story for all of those guys in there. But yeah, that's how it happens. And then your opponent plays well. And takes every opportunity possible. So, Mangonel, quickly. This is gonna be converted. Or not, well, he wasn't. That was a delete by Liereyy. That was definitely a delete by Liereyy. That wasn't killed. That wasn't killed by the TC or anything. So that was very nice micro and realizing what is happening in there. As back on the water there is apparently yet again a push forward. It seems like this time it should be working a bit better for the Austrians, because I don't see really much of a boats from the French. And we mustn't forget that there is already coming up a wall in at the bottom where basically Teutonic tanks is going to be trying to claim a territory. A whole lot of it, to be honest. There's plenty of resources, so why not? As he's preparing with extra TC, and he seems to be getting comfortable and probably maybe even thinking into getting some next stage, and then as the Chinese get in the castles and the Chukonos as well on top of that. In the meantime, of course, Liereyy is just all across the map with all the houses, the Imperial Age and whatnot, and well, he is right now basically in the middle of VM, who is just getting absolutely killed, even though he is losing nice through conversions. Unfortunately, I don't think that the economy of VM is actually strong enough to produce plenty of them. And yeah, it definitely isn't. Right now, GG is gonna be gold. And it's gonna be a game number 2 coming for the Austrians as they are tying the match at 1-1. Well played. That was just basically the Austrians knew what they were doing. They had special strategy ready. They knew it was working and they executed properly, and it just worked. And unfortunately, French probably didn't have such a great idea what to do on this map. They just fought for the water. But yeah, it was all about who controls the land better, which is, to be honest, usually on the migration type maps, which this definitely is. Who better transitions into the land and controls it faster with knights is usually the one who is having better chances of actually claiming the game. Well, let's check the post game then. Into the achievements we go. Liereyy, of course, there's not gonna be any kind of doubt at all, but I really liked how the whole Austrian team played, and his gameplay wasn't actually possible if LB10 and Teutonic tanks weren't playing so well on the water. They were just basically 2 players holding more or less 2.5. It wasn't full 3, but they were really doing a good job in there and allowed Liereyy to do what he needed to do to win the game. So yep, good team play. That's exactly what wins games, of course. Good economy. Well, he was having fast castle. He was giving castle at 21 minutes. The next best is 28. So 7 minutes faster with town centers and whatnot. So of course you're gonna be winning on economy and such. With 105 villages ending there. Next best 67. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. Alright, GG then.